So you're a mixed medium artist. For those not familiar with what that means,
Yes.
what is it?
So it basically just means that I work with more than one medium when I'm creating art. So a medium would be, acrylic, charcoal, ink, graphite, wall putty. So I typically work with more than one at any given time when I'm making art. So it's a pretty simple.
Strangest medium you've ever worked with? You said wall putty. Is there anything strange?
No, blacktop.
Blacktop.
Yes. So blacktop filler, and it creates a really, really, really cool kind of aged antique-y effect, but it's super caustic and toxic. I don't do that anymore. But I think that would be, but that was many, many years ago.
Do you have a favorite medium to work with?
Right now, for about 2 years, and I do not see it ending anytime soon because I'm so sucked into it, is black ink and graphite. So I'm so in love with black ink because it's so versatile. So it can be super saturated and sharp, edgy, but then it can also be really fluid and soft. And I'm also in a very minimalistic period, so I'm intentionally trying to work with one or only two mediums at any given time. Okay. And I just have found that allows me, that particular black ink has allowed me the most freedom within its capabilities.
Okay. So you're a self-trained, self-taught artist.
I am.
When did that begin?
I was in my early 20s and I was in a bad way, just with my own self, my mental health, the whole kit and caboodle, and very damaged, very broken, and I needed to figure out a way to fix me. So I picked up pencils and paintbrushes and paints just out of nowhere, and I'm like, let me fucking try this and see what happens. And that's how it started, and then I just fell in love with the process. Did not get any support. I think I did realize early on that, wow, I love this so much and I'm so passionate about this that I want to chase this and I want to do something with this, but I got zero support from friends or family. And then I ended up getting married and doing that whole thing, had 3 babies, and I said, fuck it, I'm done, I'm never painting again. So I didn't pick up a paintbrush for 7 years. And then my marriage started to fall apart, and I was, again, in a really bad way, back to being broken and damaged, and I knew what fixed me the last time, so I thought, let's see if it can fix me again. And that was about 8 years ago, and I started painting again. And within 2 years, I had quit my steady job and just dove right into this. So I am completely self-taught. I paint intuitively, so I paint based on how I feel, right?
So where's that inspiration come from?
Yeah, it comes from my life, I think, and just any given situation, whether it's good or bad. Again, when I originally started making art and creating art, it was about how I fixed Loryn and how I made her whole and made her better. I'm no longer that damaged, broken human that I was many, many years ago. So, the why and the where for the inspiration has definitely shifted and evolved. So now it's about how do I maintain Loryn and how do I continue to allow her to grow creatively and as an individual and as a human. So it's the inspiration, I guess, really comes down to me diving into myself and learning more and more and more parts of who I am. I've learned too, it's actually harder now. It only gets harder because I have to dig deeper every single time, and I've got to work harder to get to that unknown. I think for me, I do many different kinds of work. I do a lot of figurative work. I do abstracted landscapes, flowers. I mean, I can do just about anything. But who I am is definitely my figurative work. And so, every single figurative piece is to some degree a self-portrait.
Tell me about your creative process. Like, how do you get started?
Yeah.
Where is the beginning of something?
I think that's very contextual. Like it depends on what I'm working on. So, obviously, if it's a commission piece, well, I've got a jumping off place. I know what the client wants. I know, it's pretty straightforward. If I'm painting live, because I do a lot of that, if I'm painting live, it's really based on me reading the room, reading the energy of the room, listening to the music, and kind of working off of that. It just depends on where I'm at emotionally or mentally at any given moment. I don't set out to create a painting to piss somebody off or to offend somebody or to insult somebody. I set out to create a painting, again, to discover more of Loryn, but even bigger than that, I want to make people feel something, right? So, I would much rather have somebody walk by one of my paintings and fucking hate it, right? And be insulted and be offended and feel some sort of way about it, then walk by it and be completely apathetic towards it, because at the end of the day, I still win, right? Like, I've made you feel something. Now, what you do with that is on you. And do I believe the answer to that is asking me to remove my work because it made 3 people uncomfortable? I don't think that's the answer at all. I think we don't live in the fucking Stone Ages anymore. You know what I mean? So, yes, my career has solely been built on the provocative, what other people may think is the provocative nature of my work. Do I look at my work and think it's provocative? I don't. I look at Victoria's Secret models and think they're provocative. All right? I look at my work and think it's beautiful and think it's art, but what somebody else attaches to it is on them, and it's their business,
Have you had people ask to have your art removed from certain locations?
Oh, yeah, just this January.
How do you take that in? Like, how do you?
Well, I was in fetal position in bed for about 3 weeks, so I didn't take it in. No, I was pretty destroyed by that. And thank God I have amazing people that surround me and support me. I had a great team of people kind of working behind the scenes to help me navigate this publicly, because it became a PR shitstorm and a social media shitstorm. In a good way, I think, because I think it really did create some conversation. But I had a second location, and I guess a handful of residents, after the work hung for 4 fucking months, I guess a handful of residents were offended by it and felt that it was inappropriate for a public space, and I was given 1 week to remove the work. I want to be very clear, I was given the option to hang softer, less provocative work, and I respectfully declined that option. Thanks, but no thanks, I have to look at the big picture. I've got collectors that are 6 figures into me at this point that only own my figurative work. If I would have removed that and hung something softer or less provocative, that devalues my entire career. I can't do that, But it is the current climate that the solution right now, when something makes us uncomfortable, is to remove it. I feel like, I don't feel like that's this, I feel like there's no growth there. Let's have a conversation. Let's talk about why it makes you uncomfortable, because that discomfort's on you. Why do I have to make myself smaller because you feel a certain way? And that's essentially what it is, Do
you have a crowning achievement as an artist yet?
Yes, that I was censored. This is my crowning achievement right now. Absolutely, absolutely. The best success yet, right? Would not have said that a couple months ago, but now on the other side of it, oh, absolutely, best thing that could have happened to me. And it completely catapulted my career. I mean, it really did. Like, a lot of really great things have come from that and are continuing to come from that. In fact, I was contacted by an artist that is a partner in a gallery in Reading, and he caught wind of this whole situation, and I am having a show up there this Saturday specifically with the work that was asked to be removed. So, yeah. So what's kind of funny, and it's a little bit of a fuck you, because I can, the name of the series that was censored, if you will, was called Collateral Candor. And I started with 22 pieces. I have only 8 left. It was the most successful body of work I'd ever done. And they all sold out of that space, right? The space that was too provocative for the public. So Collateral Candor was the original name of it. So what's left of it, that's going up to Reading, it's now called Collateral Damage.
So the great debate in art, is art a reflection of society or a society a reflection of art?
Yes. I think it's both. And I think, I think artists always have, but especially now, I think we have a tremendous responsibility right now, especially considering the current political climate. And, I think, yes, I think it goes both ways, I think for me, I definitely pull on society and I pull on the environment when I work and where I'm coming from, because I, as a human, am directly affected by that, right? But within all of that too, as I'm working and I'm pulling on that, I'm also leaving my mark and my statement to society. So I think it definitely goes both ways. I do not think that there is a black and white answer for that question, in my opinion.
Where is the Loryn, the artist, in 20 years?
This is a popular question today. Hopefully still doing what she loves. Hopefully still making a great living at it, even a better living than I am right now. Maybe not working quite as hard and not quite as many hours. Hopefully settled down with a partner and, just really enjoying life, but always making art, always making art.